In cost from 100 yuan to 1 million, what is a virtual human? 90% of players are in the early stage. How do virtual people make money? We successively discussed what a virtual human is, why virtual human is popular, and the business model exploration of virtual human companies. From a business perspective, virtual humans represent a possible business opportunity, and players from all walks of life are exploring and betting. But just like the Thousand Broadcasting War in 2016 that buried countless entrepreneurs, the virtual human industry also hides countless pits. This article will try to discuss several major problems existing in the virtual human industry at this stage, and how practitioners should view the opportunities and future of virtual human. The virtual human industry is an industry with more entrepreneurs than users. Zoing Ji, Dean of the Research Institute of West Valley Live E-Commerce Group, believes that some super-realistic virtual people in the industry seem to have received a lot of endorsements, but they are essentially self-propagation and mutual touts in small circles, without the resources of the operating company behind them. A person is just a picture. Virtual people may not make money, but they are easy to finance. This represents a typical view of virtual humans. Virtual humans are like O2O and unmanned retail in the past, but it is just another conceptual hype. In fact, many practitioners also admit that virtual human is a very young industry. Most companies have started their projects less than a year ago, and many problems have not been clearly figured out. Virtual people, where is the difficulty? Virtual humans are the entrance to the next generation internet metaverse, and virtual humans are an unmissable outlet. This is the original intention of many practitioners who decided to become virtual humans. But at this stage, virtual humans still face several problems that are difficult to solve in a short time. 1. Technology, its early days for user experience. The sense of technology is one of the biggest gimmicks of virtual humans, but the technical threshold required behind it has also become one of the problems that limit the development of virtual humans. Whether it is the grand occasion of various classic IPs in the movie Ready Player One or the intersection of the real world and the virtual world in Blade Runner 2049, users have a lot of imagination and expectations for virtual humans. But the reality is that, whether it is the so-called metaverse platforms such as Meta and Xeon, or various virtual human beings, the experience that can be provided to users is quite limited. Even head avatars face complaints about ugly and stupid. The movie has raised everyone's expectations too high, so the current virtual human can't give users too much surprise. Lee Tian, a partner of L.A. W.K. Lee Weicker Technology, analyzed. Lu Wei, founder of Hualian AI, believes that rapid generation and AI drive are the two major technical difficulties in the current virtual human industry. Only by realizing the rapid generation of virtual people, solving the two major problems of low-cost mass copying, and high-frequency content production, and at the same time getting rid of the shackles of human beings, can virtual people have universal commercial value. But the reality is that the production cost of high-quality virtual human is extremely high, the production cycle is extremely long, and the effect cannot be guaranteed. At this stage, using virtual people to do content is a very risky thing. We can also make the fineness of Kumquat 2049 higher, but from the perspective of cost performance, we still hope to be shorter and faster. The creative team of Kumquat 2049 said. To a large extent, the market value of virtual humans depends on the advancement of virtual human-related technologies. As for whether the virtual human will usher in a technological explosion similar to the three-body problem, or whether it will experience a long technical climbing period like our VR glasses, we can only wait and see. On the whole, only when the virtual human has a sense of realism and immersion that rivals the real person, and the cost is lower than that of the real person, the virtual human will have more general commercial value. It is worth noting that there is a typical technical trap in the content industry. A virtual human with higher technical difficulty does not mean better user feedback. Xu Jiufeng, CEO of Fengyu Animation, believes that with the current technology, it is difficult for virtual people to avoid wearing models during live broadcast, but users have less tolerance for hyper-realistic virtual people. 2. Product, lack of differentiated competitive advantage. Luo Yonghao once said in his public sharing that, in addition to Huawei, domestic mobile phone manufacturers are all solution integrators, and this sentence is also applicable to the virtual human industry. Many practitioners revealed that most of the domestic virtual human companies are based on UE5 and other open-source technologies for the development and application of virtual human. Operation and creativity are on the inside. Wang Boxuan, founder of Quantum Craftsman, believes that the biggest problem with virtual humans at present is insufficient depth and insufficient value recognition. Turning a picture into a virtual person is just an expensive show, and doesn't make sense in itself. There are two reasons why the avatar industry is caught in low-level content competition. The first is the issue of talent. Virtual human is essentially a strong content-driven product, but at present, virtual human companies are mainly from the perspective of industrial layout, business needs, technical production, etc., and lack the participation of better content talents. Taking Zhongshiren as an example, because it is still in the early stage of the industry, there is a lack of talent accumulation, and high-quality Zhongzhi people are very scarce. Lu Xulai, the founder of Dodool, said that Fang Xiaogo's middle-aged people had to go through multiple rounds of screening before finding a relatively suitable candidate. The second is the question of perception. Wang Boxuan believes that being a virtual human cannot be the body is doing Web 3.0, but the brain is still Web 2.0. Just as text-based public accounts and video-based Douyin require completely different content and gameplay, as a new content form, virtual humans must match new content and gameplay. But the reality is that the current way of playing virtual people is to virtualize anchors with goods, entertainment anchors, and traffic idols, and the content value of virtual people has not yet been truly released. Of course, with the development of the industry, a number of interesting virtual human gameplays have also begun to appear in the industry. Recently, Zhu Tiaxiong, a blogger with millions of fans on the whole network, started the Metaverse live broadcast of Guifeng Magic Academy on Quazu. Zhu Tiaxiong incarnated as K-Universe Planet Ambassador to help fans book appointments online in the virtual world. Of course, from crowding the subway, Yunbengyi to the current Guifeng Magic Academy, what is the difference between this kind of Metaverse live broadcast and the previous online games? It still needs practitioners to continue to explore. In the early stage of the virtual human industry, content creativity will be the focus of competition. Li Tian said. It is worth noting that some practitioners believe that the technical level of virtual human products of some companies is very low, which will damage the external image of virtual human beings, and make people mistakenly think that virtual human is very low. 3. Market, lack of real business value, more conceptual dividends. As in 90% of players are in the early stage, how do virtual people make money? Discussed in the article, at present, virtual humans have explored a considerable number of business models. From the perspective of endorsement, it is even easier for virtual people to unlock big-name endorsements than real people. But the more realistic situation is that although the B side is as enthusiastic and the C side is curious, the virtual human still lacks sufficient landing influence. In terms of the end users, De Chuo, co-founder of Douyin DP Mofan Luma, revealed that with the current technology, virtual delivery anchors are just another form of intelligent customer service, and most brands prefer higher conversion rates and better experience. Zliv broadcaster Daiswo said, from the point of view of product promotion, brands are willing to try virtual people to attract attention. This situation is true. But another more realistic situation is that the cooperation between a considerable number of brands and virtual people is more of a gimmick, the debut is the peak, and there is a lack of continuous operation. The reason is that, on the one hand, the brand's expectation for virtual humans is the blessing of concepts such as technology and trends, and they lack the willingness and experience to operate in depth. On the other hand, the high operating costs of virtual humans make it extremely difficult to continuously produce content. In an interview with Blue Whale Muddy Waters, Yu Fu, the founder of the Witch Company project, said, "Being a virtual up master with 100,000 fans may cost 10 times the price of a real up master of the same magnitude." As for CN users, as a new thing, users still need a process of accepting virtual humans. Virtual human lacks not only a wider traffic influence, but also lack of experience accumulation with users. A virtual person released an advertisement for planting beauty products, but it was generally disgusted by users, who believed that it was impossible for a virtual person to experience beauty products like a real person. Virtual anchors are actually a pseudo-demand for food, beauty, or some highly interactive products, said Wang Jiwu. Lu Wei, founder of Hualien AI, said, "In the final analysis, helping customers make money is the core. At present, the virtual human industry is still in the early stage, and no one knows how to play. But if there are more industry benchmarks like Lu Yexi, the case can give more confidence to the outside world, and the industry." 4. The man in the middle, who is the soul of the virtual man. The birth of virtual humans stems from the distrust of real people and the pursuit of business efficiency. The virtual human company hopes to produce a perfect content creator who will not roll over, will not terminate the contract, is cheap enough, diligent enough, and has an infinite lifespan. Although many practitioners believe that AI-driven is the ultimate solution for virtual humans, at least for the foreseeable time, Chinese people will still be an important part of virtual humans. At first, many operators thought that Songshiren would be a more stable and cheaper solution than real people, but the indefinite dormancy of Kizuna AI and the graduation of ASOL member Jala seemed to prove that Songshiren was not as good as expected. So easy to use. Xunj believes that human beings are always the ceiling of emotional interaction. For virtual people who need strong emotional interaction, such as anchors with goods, virtual idols, etc., people in the middle are the soul. The personality charm and user attraction of the virtual human need to be endowed by the person in the middle. Chen Jian, CEO of Guangzhou Chuanguan Digital Technology Company, Limited, said in an interview with All Weather Technology, "In the past, everyone was too naive, and there were always people who mentioned to me that virtual idols could be ignored. I have always firmly opposed this view. It has always been emphasized that the avatar is the skin, and the talent in the middle is the soul of the virtual idol." Based on the viewpoints of many practitioners, the problem of Chinese people exists objectively, and there is no perfect solution is the current status of the industry. The virtual person not only needs to rely on the person in the middle to activate the virtual person, but also must accept the instability of the person in the middle. Regarding Songshiren, there are currently two main solutions in the industry. First of all, reach a benign cooperation with the people in China. Liang Zikang, CEO of Chuangyi Video, said in an interview with Keojiao TMT, "The real bond cannot be tied by agreement. Otherwise, no matter how you empower him, he will definitely want to be free once he grows up. Do it in China. The thing to be tied is the letter of the close relatives, the second is the common vision, the third is the common organization, and the last is the agreement." The problem of Kizuna AI and ASOL's people in the middle is rooted in the fact that fans think that the operators are squeezing people in the middle, which arouses the empathy and anger of fans. CCTV previously commented on the ASOL incident, arguing that transforming human efforts into cold data assets is a disguised obliteration of individual dignity. Entertainment boss Wang Daffer once broke the news in the video that entertainment brokerage companies prefer to hold idols with low education and empty heads, because these people are better behaved and better in control. From this point of view, as a substantial content creator, because of the lack of direct linkage with fans, Song Shiren is also very easy to control. This is also the reason why many operators like virtual people. However, at present, the birth of virtual people is more due to the needs of operators, but there is a question mark on whether content creators need more and are more willing to complete content creation through people in the middle. If the rights and interests of the two parties are not equal, a series of problems will inevitably arise. A healthy cooperation mechanism needs to be set up between the operator and Songrenren, and at the same time, the IP attributes of the virtual human image need to be strengthened, which can solve the problem of Songrenren to a certain extent, said Fan Xiu, founder of Jiguangmao, Chuanyi's operating company. If the operator can appease the person in the middle, let the virtual person become the person in the middle, a way to amplify the personal talent and obtain fair benefits, or it can reduce the potential risk of the person in the middle. Secondly, let virtual people have richer content support. Fan Xiu believes that Song Shiren has some actor identities similar to well-known IP such as Spider-Man and Superman. Although changing the actor will cause dissatisfaction among some fans, as long as there is enough support in the content of the IP itself, this move will not necessarily cause damage to the IP itself. Fatal blow. Let the people in the middle no longer be the only soul of the virtual human, and let the rich gameplay, stories, and worldviews dilute the dependence on the people in the middle, which is the direction that some virtual human companies try. Taking Kumquat 2049 as an example, under the circumstance of limited computing resources, the operator put a considerable part of the energy on the construction of virtual scenes such as the game system, and weather system in the live broadcast room. In addition, different from performing arts virtual humans, service-type virtual humans, such as delivery anchors, are less dependent on Songren. Many live broadcast studios even regard virtual humans as special effects props, and Songren will be replaced at will. Pang Bo, marketing director of Zuozhuo Technology, believes that from the perspective of industry development, the virtual human industry is divided into three stages: creating human beings, raising human beings, and employing human beings. Creating human beings refers to creating virtual human beings, raising human beings refers to incubating virtual humans. Let it have traffic and influence. Employment refers to putting virtual people into real application scenarios to create value. At present, the first stage has just ended. Everyone is in the exploratory stage of raising and employing people, and no one has an accurate answer. Pang Bo said. It is reasonable to speculate that when there are more and more virtual people next year, virtual people will experience a brutal battle royale. Are virtual humans worth it? The well-known consulting firm Gartner once gave a technological hype cycle curve, which is the period of innovation germination, the peak of expectations, the trough of disillusionment, the period of recovery and climb, and the period of maturity and stability. According to this concept, the virtual human industry is at the peak of expectations. The products are not ideal, the content is not good enough, the market is immature, and the channels for monetization are not clear. The virtual people are more popular due to the promotion of capital and media. As Pang Bo said, most virtual human companies now spend money from investors and earn money from conceptual dividends. It is reasonable to speculate that the trough of disillusionment for virtual humans is not too far away. But what is certain is that as the industry cools down and gradually returns to rationality, the competition in the entire industry will be on the understanding of virtual humans, the grasp of user needs, and the real products and operational capabilities. At the same time, in this new track, entrepreneurs and giants stand on the same starting line, and will have the opportunity to obtain a fairer market competition opportunity. It is not so much that virtual people are the outlet, but rather a reward for those who focus on content and technology. Those who can truly succeed in gold panning need to persevere through cycles.